Well, this is uncomfortable. It turns out that the Democrats in the Senate just now, today, as of an hour ago, voted to prevent negotiation on the health care for Obamacare subsidy, that whole thing, and refused to give people money to make their own decisions. And somehow they still think they claim the high ground on the whole they don't want to get it fixed thing. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. All right, everyone, everything's been linked in the description box below, of course. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, and catch our live show tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, every night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Guys, this is the pregame snack for that live stream. Let's jump right in. This is important. Honest to God, how do you square this? Because the Democrats shut down the government for 40 days, or 40 some odd days, all about wanting to have a discussion and negotiation on health care. They made a deal to vote on health care. They said it will never happen. Republicans are evil. The vote comes up to give people $1,500 directly to them for their own health care decisions. And Democrats say, no, we're not going to pass that because we want to keep on giving money all to the big insurance companies. Y'all, how's this going to play? You just let me know what you think in the comments below. Again, let me show you what is happening. This is why I despise the left, because they're complete and total hypocrites. They manipulate people only for their emotional responses, because if it was truly about fixing healthcare, you would just give the money to people and let them choose their own freaking healthcare, and that'd be the end of the conversation. But when that gets proposed in the United States Senate, which is what you're seeing right here, that is uncaring. Because after all, you don't know who would spend what money on what, and just better if the government dictates where that goes and the money goes directly in huge subsidies to insurance companies, big for-profit insurance companies and medical health insurance companies. You know, the same ones that were absolutely evil 4 seconds ago, but now they're perfectly fine because we don't want to give the money to the people because we're Team Democrat and we just want a negotiation on health care. Man, come on. All right, here we go. Breaking. The U.S. Senate rejects Republican proposed Obamacare solution that gives money directly to the American people in health spending accounts or savings accounts for 51-48. The Dems who voted against this support big insurance. Unbelievable. One GOP no, Rand Paul, said he wanted to get Obamacare gutted even further and it needs 60. Democrats are the party of big, rich insurance. And this is going to be the framing, by the way. Come here. This should be the framing. The White House needs to make this the framing. They just offered them the ability for you, the American people, to get $1,500 to select your own insurance, but they don't want to do that. So everything is so important about healthcare. Remember, this is the whole thing. This is the whole argument. Healthcare is so incredibly important that we're not going to allow it unless we dictate where it goes and how it goes. And by the way, where we dictate it, how it goes and where it goes is the big insurance companies, which by the way, corporations and insurance and healthcare organizations are all evil, except when we want to give them all these huge amounts of subsidies so that we can still control all of the people, then they're fine. But in other cases, they're bad and they're part of the rich and we need to soak the rich. But when they're a tool for our own use, perfectly fine. And the healthcare that is a naturalized right of every American, according to the Democrats, every single person has this right, but you don't have the right to select your own insurance. You have to select from the pre-select offerings that we have. So really, they're full of shit. And this is where it really gets irritating. Honest to God. Because it's not about you being able to choose your own destiny. It's about them choosing it for you to make sure that you make the right decision. This is literally liberalism in its purest form. We're going to complain and whine and moan about a solution to something when you offer a solution on something about letting the people actually decide with their own freaking money. Oh my God, you are uncaring, you are unserious, because after all, everyone knows it's a right that we give to people. Y'all, this is, if the Republicans and Trump and the White House do not run on the fact that these people are only beholden to these huge organizations, healthcare insurance companies that are quite literally the same people that they always castigate for the rich people, it is disgusting. Oh, you don't believe me? Okay, well, we got more. Watch this. Again, catch me again tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time when we keep on going. But this is a unanimously passed resolution that the Democrats just passed, refusing to negotiate with Republicans on health care. Remember, Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer repeatedly said they shut down the government because they wanted to negotiate with Republicans. So The Republicans put forward a proposal to negotiate, and they shut it down. They put out a resolution that was unanimously supported and adopted by all Democrats, saying that they will not negotiate. So here's my question to you, my beautiful bastions of freedom out there, because you guys have more common sense than most do. How can you be upset and say that you want to negotiate over health care for the American people when you shut down the government, and then when you get the opportunity to negotiate for the health care of the American people, you shut it down unanimously? That doesn't sound like negotiation to me. That sounds like hostage taking, and that you're only going to accept a government provided subsidy going directly to large insurance companies and large insurance healthcare subsidizers, because you want the control. It's not about people allowing to their own control and their own choices. It's not about deregulating the market so you can get insurance across state lines, which would then deregulate and basically incentivize corporations and bring prices down. No. We have to have our thumb on the scale of the economy and of healthcare and everything, because we're the government and we know better. So we're going to actually make it worse, which is standard operating procedure on government regulation. We're going to make it even worse because we want it our way, because in our way, we get a little bit of control and we get to guarantee people will vote for us because we're going to promise their health care, even though we are denying them every choice of freedom available. It is mind-boggling. All right, watch. I'm going to show you. I'm not making this up. Watch this.
And this resolution just reminds those that this is something that should not be negotiated. Yes, politics, and there are some areas where we can talk around it, talk through it, negotiate. But this is one area that should not be negotiated. This is like negotiating with someone with how much air they breathe in. This is, healthcare is a basic right, just like the air we breathe in, air we breathe. And this resolution just reminds those who are leading us, who are serving us, that there are just some things that you just have to, stand firm on,
Okay, I want everyone to be healthy. You know what? Just for the lefties who happen to find me, I want every single person to be healthy. I want every single person to have access to health care. I want every single person to be as healthy as they can be. I would love them not to eat sugar. I would love them to exercise. I personally would love to be a lot less fat. But the reality is, you cannot say health care is a right because A, you guys don't give a shit about rights. Look at the Second Amendment and the First Amendment. You infringe on whatever the hell you want to infringe on because at the moment you have the feels. So the whole rights thing doesn't really make a whole lot of sense on Team D. But on the other side of this, it's like a right to breathe. Okay, bring forward some sort of plan or some sort of anything that can actually make this a financially viable alternative, and we'll talk about it, but you can't. You just want all the money to be redistributed to everybody else. That's what the whole thing is about. It's about a redistribution of wealth through social benefit. But if you're going to say that it's all about negotiation and it cannot be negotiated whatsoever, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. In fact, it kind of conflicts and it kind of leads you to the idea that your actions are kind of negating your words, and it's almost like it's political gamesmanship because you want power again. I don't know. It just seems to me that a DNC resolution to say we will not negotiate at all with anyone that is signed and approved unanimously isn't really in the spirit of negotiation of which we shut down the government for 41 days. I don't know. That seems to conflict a little bit. Maybe we'll explore this a little bit later on our live stream tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you see me there. I will see you there. I'm Braden. Later.